And in this case, we actually distinguish between three types of adverbs: time, manner, and place. Or as we say it, tijd, manier, and plaats. And time, as you can probably tell, is like, for example, yesterday, tomorrow, or now, later. Whereas manner tells you something about how something went. So the way it went. So that would be like quickly, slowly, etc. And then the place will tell you something about where. And often the sequence would be time, manner, place. Let me see. And then they say that manner is the odd one out. And sometimes goes somewhere else. For example, after place. And usually this happens when it is supposed to give it more emphasis. Let me look at the example. So the example says, de student at net heel luid achter zijn bureau een appel. Which translates to, just now, that student very loudly ate an apple behind his desk. And here we see that the order would be time, manner, place. So net it means just now. Heel luid means loudly, very loudly, and achter zijn bureau means behind his desk. And I see that it's different if you say it in English, but I don't really know like what to say about that, Thomas.
Yeah, no. So here you can already see that Dutch and English syntax don't really match up per se.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for instance, in English, you almost always put the time adverb at the start or the end of the sentence or clause. And in Dutch, we don't have to do that. But in English, it's sort of mandatory because it sounds very weird if you, I am going tomorrow to the store. That sounds very weird. I'm going to the store tomorrow, or tomorrow I'm going to the store. That sounds right.
Yeah.
So that's already one difference.
Okay, so it's just really different compared to English sentences. But usually the correct sequence is time, manner, place.
Yes.
Okay.
And they go in that sequence, which I will usually refer to as the middle part of the sentence. It goes after the finite verb.
Yeah.
And the indirect object if it doesn't have a to or something. So if going back to the previous one, it's the wrong one. So here, in the last sentence, de leraar geeft de leerlingen de les. If I would add today in there, it would be de leraar geeft de leerlingen vandaag de les. And not de leraar geeft vandaag de leerlingen de les.
Yeah.
That sounds all right, but the other one is good.
Not too bad, but yeah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat the sentence that you just said? Just repeat it.
Yeah. De leraar, like the example sentence.
Yeah. The one where you put the time in it.
Yes. De leraar geeft de leerlingen vandaag de les. So here you would place the time.
Okay.
Adverb.
Thanks.
Then about about the order of the bijwoordelijke bepalingen, the adverbs. So as we said, in English, it's pretty strict that you have to put the time in the front or the back of the sentence, and the manner and place, they go somewhere. I don't really know the rule in English. In Dutch, the rule it's pretty strict-ish that it is time, manner, place, but you can change around manner and place if you want to give different emphasis to different parts. Now, well, to manner or place. And the one in the back has more emphasis. So here, the example sentences are, ik heb gisteren veel in Tiel gefietst. En ik heb gisteren in Tiel veel gefietst. In Tiel veel gefietst, sorry. You can always add emphasis by just emphasizing the word. But in sentence-wise, in Tiel here, in the top one, has more emphasis than in the bottom one. The sentence means, I cycled a lot in Tiel yesterday. In the other one would be, I cycled in Tiel a lot yesterday. So in English, you can sort of do that, but you notice that it sounds a bit more awkward, whereas both of these sound in Dutch are fine, but they just have different emphasis. We will get to another way of adding emphasis in a bit, namely putting it in front, but that is in a bit. Where's my mouse? I have too many mice here. Even?
Ben ik?
As you will.
I'll try. Let me have a quick look.
Yeah, if you think, oh, Eva has to look at things, it's because I apparently failed at uploading the slides on. Yeah, so she didn't have access to the slides.
Yeah, this won't happen next week. Don't worry. But let me see. So the slide says andere dingen in de zin, which translates to other things within the sentence. And then they give the example of prepositions and things that don't refer to the subject. So the sentence reads: Hij gooide de telefoon in Utrecht in de gracht. Which translates to he threw the phone in the, how do you say gracht in English? In the,
yeah, maybe in the canal, I guess is some
canal.
close pronunciation.
In the canal in Utrecht. And then in the canal would be the preposition, I guess.
Yeah, so in the canal, in the gracht, refers to what you're doing to the object. So you're throwing the object in the canal, and that isn't per se the same as the place adverb, because that refers to where the subject is doing the verb. So they're doing it in Utrecht, and they're throwing it in the gracht. You can usually recognize this by the preposition. So in, naar, op.
Yeah, exactly. In, naar, op. And then you also can have other verbs. So infinitives and past participles, which is apparently in the next lesson. But an example would be: Ik zou mijn huiswerk al gemaakt hebben, which translates to I would have done my homework already. And then you have two verbs, would and have done. And in this case, zou en gemaakt hebben. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's also a rule. The other verbs always go to the end of the sentence. So you hear a lot of people starting to speak Dutch. They just put them kind of in the same place as English, or wherever they put them in their language. So then you hear: Ik zou gemaakt hebben mijn huiswerk al, for instance. But it's important to know all the other verbs go at the end of the sentence, where they belong.
And is that the same for the prepositions then?
The prepositions also usually go at the end of the sentence, in the miscellaneous category. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. So to kind of put it all together in a diagram that you can look at, it can be useful to think of the Dutch sentences being split up into three parts: the start, and the middle, and the end. And in the start, you always have the subject and a finite verb. You can count on that. Count on that. No, yeah, okay. You can count on that for now. Everything is subject to exceptions that will be explained later. And the indirect object if it doesn't have a preposition. So here, mij. In the middle part of the sentence, you have the time, manner, place, and the direct object, which has, if you are astute, notice there's a little caveat there, which I will explain in a bit. And then the end part of the sentence is the miscellaneous stuff and the other verbs. All the other verbs always go to the end of the sentence, and they go there in a certain order. So first past participle, and then the infinitives. And the infinitives also sort of have an order, which we will get to again in a bit. But this is, I think, a diagram that's useful to, well, not remember, but something I wish I put in the booklet, which I will sort of refer to later. And if I need to refer to it, I will just put it in the slides where you need it. It's useful to have the start and the middle and the end as categories where we can put things. Keeps us on track. Now, about that little caveat. So this sentence. Hij wil mij het boek morgen gegeven hebben. It means he wants to give me the book tomorrow. Or he wants to have given me the book tomorrow. Bit of an awkward sentence, but I needed other verbs to demonstrate my thing. As you notice, the direct object goes in a different place depending on whether it's specific or unspecific. It's also a fun little thing. So if it's a specific thing, you usually put it at the start of before time, manner, place. And if it's unspecific, you put it after. And you can know whether it's specific or unspecific if it's specific, if it has the or het or is a name. That's it. Everything else is unspecific. So if it has een, or it doesn't have a thing, or it has vier or geen, it's all unspecific. And you put it there.
What about did and
did? That's also a good one. That's also specific indeed. De aanwijswoorden, they're specific. And so did dat, deze, die. And possessives, they're weird. They can be counted as unspecific. Now, if you think, wow, this is annoying to keep track of, don't worry. If you put it always after time, manner, place, you'll be always technically correct. And you'll always have a good sentence. It will just sound maybe a little more awkward than a fluent Dutch speaker would do, but that's maybe not something you have to worry yourself about now. It's fine if you just put it here nicely in the end. But if you, I do want to let you know that this is a thing that people do, in case you are interested. So, the start, subject, finite verb, indirect object, middle, time, manner, place in the direct object, and the end, miscellaneous or other verbs. Cool? Okay. If there are not any questions, we'll move on. Yeah, cool. Then we have this our nice word order, and now it gets all messed up by things. We gaan het veranderen. Whoops. Yeah, this is a very short one. So Eva, maybe you would like this one?
Yeah, of course. So the word order is not set in stone, unfortunately. There are two common ways it can change. And the first one is by turning the sentence into a question, so een vraag. And in that case, the finite verb and the subject change within the change in the order of the sentence. Let me see if I can have an example. Do we have an example, Thomas?
The one in the booklet, maybe. For example, from the sentence, de professor moet morgen stilletjes in de bibliotheek een toets maken. The professor has to quietly make a test in a library tomorrow. If you make that a sentence, then sort of like English, with Dutch, luckily we don't have to use this extra weird verb to do. You just change up the order of the the question and the the finite verb and the subject. So you get, moet de professor morgen stilletjes in de bibliotheek een toets maken? Does the professor have to quietly make a test in the library tomorrow?
Yeah.
Putting as many adverbs in there as I can. But yeah, that's an easy one that you're probably already used to, right? Oh, I think there's a question. The conversation. Okay, type the question. Yes, I will. While Eva does this thing, I think. I will type it out.
Oh.
It's also in your booklet, but I will type it out anyway.
And the other way the sentence the sequence of the sentence can change is by adding bijwoordelijke bepalingen or adverbs. And then the slide says sometimes adverbs occur in the beginning of a sentence. So for example, if you say gisteren regende het, then you say it rained yesterday or yesterday it rained. And then gisteren will be at the beginning of the sentence. And the other example is snel liep hij van de trap, which means that he was walking up the stairs quickly. And then you put the word quickly, which means snels, in the beginning of the sentence as well. And it gives less of more emphasis on the adverb.
Yes. Quickly he ran off the stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds a bit. I think it sounds a bit more less forced in Dutch than in English, but it's also valid in English. But in English, the word order doesn't change. So in English, it's quickly he walked down the stairs, and in Dutch it becomes snel liep hij.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the two main changes that we will take into account today. There's a lot more with different clauses, etc., but we also want you to practice and not throw everything at you at once. For some, maybe this is straightforward. For others, maybe not. This is the same thing. Het regende gisteren. Gisteren regende het. Note that you can't really make this a question. You can't really make a question with the adverb at the start. So you can't say gisteren regende het? Yeah, I guess you can. You make anything a question if you just raise your eyebrow and raise your voice at the end, but it's not really a question. All right, so technically we should have a break now, but we have some time, which is good because there's an exercise you can do. Wow, we can actually let you do an exercise. In your booklet, oefening 1, woordvolgorde. So put the words in the correct order. For the first one, you just have to put the words in the correct order. And the second one, you have to change the word order of each sentence to start with the adverb. And that has already been done for you. So you just have to put the words in the correct order. So take some time to do that. And then I guess we will discuss that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hey, Thomas, just a question. I think I didn't follow this sentence. Gisteren geregen het. Is it possible or not?
Oh, this is a correct sentence. You just cannot make it a question like this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if you want to make it a question, you would say regende het gisteren?
Okay. Okay. Dankjewel.
No problem.
Can I ask a question? For number 2, is there a verb missing?
Wow, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Great question. The verb is besteld. I will write it in the chat. Or besteld. Good catch. That would be a great exception. That's some sentences in Dutch don't even have a verb, but luckily that's not the case. Maybe, and if you are done with both questions, maybe you can let me know in the chat so I have an indication how people are doing. Otherwise, I just have to ask like all the time, like, "Oh, are you done already? Are you done?" No one likes that. Some people already done. Not everyone, I think. Oké. Volgens mij zijn een hoop van jullie al klaar. I think a lot of you already finished. Anyone not done yet and wants some more time? Okay. So wait a bit. Let me test if this works. Hey. Typed up the answers quickly. Good, good, good. All right, I feel like most people are done. Dus laten we beginnen met nakijken. Super, Christine is ook klaar. Ja, oké. Bijan, zou jij de eerste willen doen? Would you like to do the first one?
Ja. Erik gaat vandaag met Peter naar de les.
Very good. Could you also translate it?
Yes. Eric goes every day with Peter to the lesson.
Yes, almost. But vandaag means today. But otherwise,
Oh, what did I say?
every day.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No worries. You did very well. Right, the second one. Alice?
Ja. Gisteren ben ik hardlopen geweest. Oeps, sorry, was mijn. Erik eet elke dag een broodje bij Mario.
Yes, indeed. I didn't supply verb, so that's very good.
Okay.
To put it.
Do you have to translate?
Yes, please.
Okay. Erik eats every day. What's the word? Bread, like a sandwich,
Yeah.
with Mario, but
Yes.
by Mario, like
At
home. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Alexander? Alexander? I forgot. I thought it was Alexandra, but now it's Alexander.
Yeah.
Yes.
Peter vraagt de docent wat de lessen kosten.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
The translation?
Peter asks the docent what the lessons cost.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. For okay.
Yes. Peter heeft zin om een kop koffie te drinken.
Very good. Translation?
So Peter feels like drinking a cup of coffee.
Yes, indeed. Zin hebben om means feeling like. And then the fifth one for Ludwig. I assume Ludwig.
Ja, Ludwig. Erik moet om 12 uur bij het examen zijn.
Very good. Translation?
That he must be at the exam within 12 hours or something.
Yeah, almost. Just
Almost?
at 12.
At 12. All right. Sorry.
Very good. All right. Next one. That will be for Ada. One of the three.
Sorry, which task was it she was asking?
B1.
B1. Yeah.
Op zaterdag leest Peter altijd een heel boek.
Very good.
So on Saturday, Peter reads a whole book.
Yeah, very good. Iona, could you do the second one?
Om 9 uur fietst hij met Peter naar collega. Naar college.
College. Supervision.
College, ja. And that is like 9 o'clock. He bikes with Peter to the college.
Yes, the college is specifically a lecture.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You would know that, but Yannick?
Met Freek doen de jongens eerst een oefening.
Very good.
Yeah, exercise.
Oh, and the boys only do with Freek an exercise?
Almost.
Do them like
first. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the boys do the exercise first with Freek.
Oh, okay.
Or with Freek, the boys first do the exercise, an exercise. I forgot to click. Oh, that's too far clicked. For whoever I Sebastian.
I still need the quiz manual. I don't have it yet.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes, I sent you a message.
Oh, sorry. You weren't able to download it?
I don't know where.
It's in the main team, so the other team that we're in now, in the slides, booklets, whatever tab, and then files. But it's also in the general files tab. So. But yeah, that's a good reason. You get off scot-free for this one. Christina, could you do 4?
I wasn't sure about this one. So it's aan het einde van de les moeten ze in 2 talen een spreekoefening doen.
Perfect. Yeah. And the translation?
At the end of the class, they have to do an exercise in 2 languages, or?
Yeah, pretty close. So at the end of the class, they have to do a speaking exercise, spreekoefening, in 2 talen, in pairs.
In pairs, oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a teaser for what we'll do at the end. Whoops, that's also the answer. 2. Okay, last one. Leonie?
Ja, meestal rond 12 uur fietsen Johan en Peter naar huis.
Yes, perfect. And the translation?
So like mostly around 12, they're going by bike home.
Yeah, indeed. Usually, Johan and Peter cycle back home again at 12. All right. Well, you did very well. Good job. Maybe the questions were too easy, or our explanation was just so stellar you got in one. So now it is time for the break. Let's have one until 5 past, and then we'll go back and recap question words, teach you some words, and then to the main event, some speed dating. All right. So 5 past. So quick recap. What we just did. This diagram, very well, not important, but nice. Subject, verb, indirect object, direct object, time, manner, place, direct object, miscellaneous and other verbs. And if I ever refer to the end of the sentence, I mean miscellaneous stuff and other verbs. If I refer to the middle of the sentence, I mean the direct object and the time, manner, place adverbs. And if I refer to the start of the sentence, I mean the subject and the finite verb, and possibly the indirect object. Just for future reference. Now, move on. Just a quick recap of question words. These are useful. Also called interrogatives, interrogatives. I never know how to pronounce that, so I just use question words. Eva, maybe you could lead us through these.
Yeah, sure. So, well, this is not really a big thing, I guess, but you have these question words, and in Dutch, they usually go at the beginning of the sentence. So an example would be how are you, which in Dutch means translates to hoe gaat het, and then who is the question word, and it's, as you can see, at the beginning. Same goes for the other ones actually. So you have why you're wearing those clothes, which translates to waarom heb je die kleren aan, and then again you see waarom at the beginning. Wie is jouw favoriete leraar? Who is your favorite teacher? Again, who translates to wie and is at the beginning. And then the last one, wanneer ga je naar de Nederlandse les? When are you going to the Dutch class? And also when translates to wanneer and is at the beginning. Was there anything else? And then the next slide just shows the list of possible question words. As you can see, a lot start with the W, but not all of them. Yeah, these are the main, like the most common ones, I guess. It says it's incomplete, but I wouldn't know.
I can add that at the end.
Yeah?
Which ones the other ones are.
I don't know. If I see it, then I'll probably say yes. But and then so as we saw before, you have who, which translates to how. The next one you pronounce as hoeveel, waar vandaan, so where from, what, welk. This is a funny one because you have welk or welke. And you use welk if the word after starts with het. So, for example, het boek, the book, you say welk boek and niet welke boek. And if the how do you call the word? Is it subject?
Yeah, just a noun.
Yeah. And if it's if the word starts with de, so for example, de tafel, then you say welke with an e at the end. So welke tafel. And then the other ones are wat voor, wie, wanneer, and waarom.
Yes, very exciting. Maybe some other things to keep in mind. There's also mentioned in your booklet. Who can stand by itself, or you can add an adjective as the last one. So, hoe duur is de broek? So that's how expensive are those pants. Or if you leave out the duur, you get who is die broek? So how is that pants? Makes sense, right? Hoeveel always takes a noun because you're asking how many of something there is. So hoeveel schoenen heb je? Hoeveel boeken zijn er? How many shoes do you have? And then welke or wat voor also take a noun because it's like which, right? Welke or wat voor dingen leer je bij ESN? So this is incomplete. That is because at the start, because there are a lot more question words, and those are a bit weird. They all start with waar, so waarvoor or waarvan, waarmee. Those are a bit weird. They are basically, for some reason, Dutch uses that word waar, where, instead of what. But it means the same. So waarvoor means what for. Waarmee means with what. Waarvan means of what. They all work in the same way as just waar of what. You just put them at the start and then ask questions with them. But there's like a lot of them, so I did not list them. The important thing is that they form one word. That makes them a question word, not question words. So waarmee is one thing, waarvan, waarop. There's just a lot of prepositions you can put after waar that make it what, on what, in what, etc., etc. So waar plus a preposition means what plus the preposition. Good to know. Then there is yeah, there is a small exercise in your booklet, but it is so small that I will append it to the homework in favor of doing something more interesting, I think. What is maybe useful, before we go to the speed date round, is to go through this list that's in your book. Yeah, of studies and study-related vocabulary. Now that you have some knowledge of sentence structure and we just recapped a bit the question words, the idea is to have conversations in a bit in pairs, as was teased before, about your studies. What are you studying? Why do you study it? What kinds of things do you do? I realize that you don't know everything, not per se how to say it. We haven't really taught you how to give reasons per se. So if you don't know how to phrase that, like because such and such, that's because we didn't tell you that yet. So you can fill that in English or fake it. I can give you the words if you want. I will give you the words. Because is omdat. I will just give you that word and give you all the caveats later. I will write it in the chat so you know what it is. Omdat is because. Now, just go through these quickly. So there's some studies here. Geschiedenis is history. Rechten is law. Geesteswetenschappen, humanities. Scheikunde, chemistry, a lot of here. Onderwijswetenschappen, pedagogical sciences. Informatica, computer science. Sociale wetenschappen, social sciences. Surprise, surprise, wetenschap means science. Geneeskunde means medicine. And then some other things. Onderzoeker means researcher. Examen, exam. Stress, stress. Druk. You can be druk. Ik ben druk. I'm busy. Or you can be under druk. Ik sta onder veel druk. I'm under a lot of pressure. Sterrenkunde, astronomy. Leren is to learn. Studeren is to study. Studeren. Wiskunde is mathematics. Natuurkunde is physics. And psychologie is psychology. So we do say the psychologie. Beautiful word. Now, for the fun part, let me stop sharing my screen. And this, we are going